Okay, I'm going to give you. Mm, mm, this is very difficult. Um, in English, we might call it metaphysical theory. Um, okay, well, I don't even like to label it, but all right, let's move along. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about what's known as a Serry, Serry. It is an elf word, and it means to move from one version of your reality to another. A human named Bert Goldman called this Serrying a different name. He called it quantum jumping. Uh, Back in the 1990s, there was a TV show called Sliders where this happened. And so, what's this all about? It's going from one version of planet Earth to another. And what we're doing is we're searching for the best timeline where the best and highest is manifested. So, if you're used to Earth being full of news about and seeing people and you personally experiencing mm, great unpleasantness, you must know that in an infinity, you understand infinity? Infinity, if there's an infinite number of possible planet Earths, there are way better Earths where people who, in your memories, were criminals or just mean spirited, in some versions of Earth, and if it's an infinite number of Earths, then there's going to be quite a few where these criminal that you remember um, never did criminal acts. And then there's versions of Earth, many versions of Earth, where these people are blessed. So, what else do we want to talk about? I don't want to tell you that even physicists have talked about this in the many worlds interpretation of quantum physics. And I guess the next question is, all right, I'll be your huckleberry. How do you quantum jump into one of these other worlds? I would give you the Course in Miracles to study. Now, it's a great big, thick book about, it's very thick. And I'm going to summarize it very small number of words because rather than you buying that huge book and digging through it, I mean, you can if you really want to get into it, but let's just go with you have to forgive everything. This is also known as radical forgiveness. And why do you do radical forgiveness? Well, at the beginning of the Course in Miracles, it says, only love is real. So if we're experiencing worlds where we see unloving actions, unloving people, unloving situations, they're not considered to be real. But I experienced this. I know you did. Nevertheless, to play this metaphysics, you have to come to understand that for the sake of you doing quantum jumping, you have to mm, ignore your memories or forgive your memories of these things. In other words, you don't want to be attached to the timeline that you already experienced, where all these things happened. Well, you want to do this because you want to be your infinite self and you want to have freedom. If you crystallize the past by holding on to those memories as being that's what happened, absolutely 100%, you force yourself to keep those other things that happened in those timelines for you. You lock yourself in to whatever happened in the past, and in your version of reality, these people will always be, in your mind, highly toxic and negative. So with radical forgiveness, you say, I let go of the past. I just let go. I let it go, which means I'm not attached to it. I'm not going to insist that that's what happened. I'm just going to let it go, which also means that instead of living in the past, by dragging the past that you experienced around with you, you let go of it and you go right here into the now moment, where all of those other memories, they're like, that's all they are. For you, they're a memory. For you, they're a memory. For you, they're a memory. And they're not, a memory is something that happened. And it's, stuck somewhere in your system. And what we're wanting to do is come into the present moment where the memories aren't what's happening right now. They're not. They're not happening right now unless you are spending all your time regurgitating all of these memories and making them, reinforcing them. This is it. This is it. Living in the past, holding on to grudges, holding on to everything. Letting go of all that brings you into the present moment. And it brings you into inner silence or quiet mind, a meditative state. Now, what does Marge Simpson have to do with all this? Mostly when you become very present in the now, you are doing a magical technique where Marge Simpson, who in 3D Earth, 3D is basically people who live in the past and getting anxious about the future. But when you live in the now, people who are just cartoon personalities can be... I'm having a hard time putting this into English. These personalities that you consider to be fictional become, it's like Pinocchio. You remember the story of Pinocchio? Geppetto carved a wooden doll, called it Pinocchio, and then through magic, Pinocchio became a real boy. By you going into the now moment and staying in the now moment, the magic happens so that personalities like Marge Simpson become real people. That can't happen. I'm sorry, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. In infinity, infinite reality, magic can happen and Marge can become a real person. I mean, if you don't want to live in a magical world and you want to hold on to your 3D thinking, you have free will. And as my time ends, okay, this is Bob Frizzell for the Reality Game, and I'm going to tell you about my time. My time is your last chance. My time is never letting go of your rigid intellectual opinions about the nature of reality. So, if you have rigid intellectual opinions about this is the way reality is and it can't be changed, then you're using your free will to create your own reality. And as you believe in your heart, so shall it be. That was a quote by James Allen. So, it's basically your go. If you insist that all of these people have to have, I don't know what you want, eye for an eye justice, or I don't know what you want for these people, but if that's what you want and you hold on to it, you'll create a reality for yourself to experience all of that. You're also locking yourself into karmic relationships with phantoms. In other words, you're going to create yourself a separate reality where all of these people that you think are real solid people are going to be in your reality, and you're going to have major karma with them. Because if you insist that they are all horrible, evil people, these beings will be so for you, because that's what you're holding on to, and you're creating that reality, and you're creating a hell of a lot of karma for yourself, because it's a negative prayer to say these beings must play dark roles in your reality. Negative prayer. You're not blessing these people, you are cursing them. And you will experience the cursed version of them because you create the reality you will experience. And these phantoms, what it will be difficult to understand because you think in very 3D ways. And your 3D version of reality is there's only one of every so-called person. In the magic of the now moment, there are unlimited numbers of these people. And if you go back and look at the TV show Sliders, you only need to really watch the first episode. The first episode of Sliders, if you can find it, you will see that there are multiples of people. So, now my time is how long I'm going to be in your shared reality. I don't wish to make myself any more oblique. I do not wish to participate in your reality where you curse people and create negative karmas and create nasty, nasty, horrible, horrible. So, with due warning, you now have all been warned. Don't do this. Don't create negative realities by judging people, by demanding eye for an eye justice, by holding on to the path of I am creating this necessary thing so these people can come to my version of justice. If you do so, you are going to regret it. That's all I can tell you. Okay, this is my Family Guy hat, and I'm going to perhaps wind it all up with reminding you, take it easy. Choose love. In the end, if you don't believe only love is real, then your reality won't have any love at all in it. And you're not going to have a mixture of love and hate. You're only going to have hate. Because they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. And you say, well, I want a middle way or something. No. If you simply go for the middle between, you're not going to get love and hate. You're going to get only hate. Because you're never going to be able to move past this duality. You're always going to have lots more hate than anything, because hate is a very low vibration. And if you're going to include it in your world, you're really dragging yourself very, very far down towards hate. You're not going to get love and hate. You're going to get pure hate. It's mostly because it's just the way it is. You have left duality in what we know as 3D version of Earth. Now that you are in what's known as the fifth dimension, if you insist on going and holding on to all of these 3D ideas, you're going to have to go someplace else, because this planet, Gaia, has already told everyone she doesn't want any more 3D. So she's not going to host you. So where are you going to play your game of what I told you? Hate. Not here. In essence, what's going to happen if you insist on this is you're going to have to, I don't know where you're going to find someone to host you. The universe itself doesn't want to host any more 3D versions of Earth. And people who have been trapped in 3D versions of Earth are now being told, get with the program, the fifth dimension. Insisting you're going to create a reality other than the fifth dimension, of 3D duality of hate. I don't know what to tell you. We're not recommending it at all, and we don't want to give you advice other than let go of the past. It's time to quit these horrible, horrible experiences. And the thing is, if you come to understand that all the rest of us don't even want to know that this hateful realities are still going on because someone is insisting on choosing that, you're going to find out that it's really not anything other than your enormous narcissistic ego that is demanding this kind of reality. And we're going to keep telling you, it's time you lose your narcissistic ego. And then I don't know what else I can tell you. It's basically not allowed anymore. So, in essence, what's going to happen is if you hold on to all of these horrible experiences and insist on eye for an eye justice, big, big karma is going to land on your head. A mountaintop is going to land on your head with the rest of the mountain. And it's going to, you're expecting the school of hard knocks. You have no idea how big a school of hard knocks is going to come to dissuade you from the wrong choice. But that's basically what you're looking at. Horrible, 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 personal, nasty experiences. So horrible, finally, perhaps you will remember this talk and you will say, I have to let go of my hatred. I have to let go of my sense that I must see all of this eye for an eye justice. That's what's going to happen. So, to avoid a nasty experience or a series of very unfortunate events for you, get with the program. Get in the now. Radical forgiveness of the past. Open your heart to love. And then you'll be okay. Thank you for watching. Please share and subscribe because there's probably quite a few people who need to see this video.